How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Personal Finance Takeover. My name's Sean. This is my co-host Fabian, and today's episode is titled Roth IRA Millionaire: How to Become One. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us out on the YouTube algorithm for that like button, so we appreciate it. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. What is a Roth IRA?
Yeah, so a Roth IRA is an investment vehicle that allows you to save after-tax money for retirement. So think of it as an investment account, but you're setting money that has already been taxed and it's for your retirement. But there are a couple restrictions. So there are contribution limits, there are income limits that you got to consider. So the contribution limits for 2021 is $6,000 a year per individual. And the income limits is you cannot make more than $125,000 a year, or if you're married filing jointly, you cannot make more than $198,000 per year. Sean, if you're a high earner, how can you overcome these income limits?
Yeah, so there's something called a backdoor Roth where you invest into a traditional IRA account and then you transfer that over to the Roth IRA account.
The IRS doesn't put income limits on traditional IRAs, so quickly are able to deposit money into your traditional IRA and do a conversion. So the IRS allows one conversion per year from a traditional to a Roth. So you can move, $6,000 into your traditional and quickly move it over to your Roth.
Right.
But just keep in mind, you will have to pay taxes because a traditional IRA is tax deferred money, but a Roth IRA is after tax money. So just, keep that in mind if you're doing the whole back door. And, if you're a high earner, congratulations and being a high earner.
Right.
So
All right. So a couple things with the Roth IRA. What is it that you invest in? How does that work?
So with the Roth IRA, you have access to mutual funds, you have access to index funds, ETFs, REITs, bonds. So basically everything that's allowed in a brokerage account.
Right.
One thing to consider is, investing in low cost index funds for the long term growth, because in your Roth IRA, what you're going to want to do is invest over a long period of time.
Right.
So I think by doing so, you're able to, average a good rate of return and keeping the cost very low, so it's not eating away at your gains.
Right. All right. So let's look at a couple of examples on how do you actually become a Roth IRA millionaire, since that's what this whole episode's about, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you gotta one thing to keep in mind is time. Time is on your side, if you are young. So, the younger you start it, the better the better chance you have at actually reaching that goal. So, like, for example, let's look at someone who's in their 20s. If they open the account at 20 years old with 0, in their account, and they're committing and contributing those $6,000 a year for the next 40 years at a conservative rate of return of 8%, then that person can expect to have a $1.68 million account balance in time of retirement. So once they reach 60 years old, because at a Roth IRA, you can start taking money out of there at 59 and a half. So we'll just, push that age up to 60. They can have 1.6 million dollars. So
Tax free, by
tax
the way.
free. Yes. And then when you look at how much money that individual actually contributed, it was only 240,000.
Right.
So they basically saved up $240,000 of their own money and were able to flip it over 40 years to $1.68 million.
It's insane. So if you're
That is
20 and
crazy.
you're watching this, $6,000 a year, that's $500 a month
Make that
or
commitment.
$125 a week.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just start. You will thank yourself. Your future self will thank you, and you're just gonna feel better about yourself once you get to that
Right.
retirement. So let's look at the difference. So what if you decide to put off saving for retirement in your 20s and you decide to start in your 30s? How's that gonna impact those 10 years gonna impact you, and how much money would you have? So can you
Yeah.
run us
So
through those numbers?
this is going to be where that whole compound interest is working for you the longer you wait. So if you're 30, then that means you say you want to still retire at that 60, right around that 59 and a half, where you could pull from the Roth IRA. So those 30 years at the same 8%, we're going to do the same example. It's conservative 8%. And you're going to be coming out with about $700,000.
Yeah, $734,000. So that's a huge difference.
Right.
That's a very huge
And
difference.
that's
That's almost like
with
$900,000 over just, if you're deciding to wait 10 years.
right.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, $6,000 over 10 years, that's $60,000. So
Yeah.
you can flip those $60,000
Yeah.
for an additional $900,000.
Yeah, if you have that extra 10 years of waiting time, then that's
But
gonna be the best.
But if you're in your 30s, don't get discouraged because, there's still time. I would rather retire with a $750,000
Mhm.
Roth IRA, tax-free money,
Right.
than with nothing. So don't
Exactly.
get discouraged and say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do it because I don't have time." There's
Mhm.
still a lot of factors. We're running these numbers conservatively,
Mhm.
but if you choose to push retirement to 65, 68, so now that's more time. So now you will get closer to that million. Maybe your account doesn't do an 8%, average rate of return. Maybe
Right.
you're pushing 10%.
Right,
Now
because
all of a sudden you're gonna hit that number, but
yeah.
we're just gotta run these numbers conservatively because we don't know what's gonna happen in the next, 30,
Right.
40 years. So don't get discouraged. Still start today
Mhm.
and commit yourself to actually doing or signing up to a Roth IRA.
Right, and with that 8%, like we're saying, we're being conservative because S&P 500, if you look at it over the last 30 to 40 years, that's between 9 to 10% is what it's been averaging, so we're being conservative on that 8%. You might have a better return, so
Yeah. So just some key takeaways. You can achieve millionaire status through a Roth, but the earlier you start it, the better.
mhm,
But you gotta commit and start now. So look up a brokerage account that you like, or brokerage firm that you like, and open up your account and commit to maxing it out every year.
mhm,
I know that everyone's situation is different, but just make that commitment. Either if you have the means to contribute all the money all at once, then do it. If you don't, if you're somebody who likes to budget it out, then carve out $500 a month, carve out $125 a week, however you want to do it, or every day. Just take 6,000 divided by 365 days. Boom, do it that way. But
mhm.
just commit to yourself, and then you'll watch that over 30 years, you're gonna be very happy with the results,
Yeah,
or 40
definitely.
years. So,
All right, so that is the steps on how to become a Roth IRA millionaire. So if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you guys already started doing this, we'd love to know how it's going for you. Leave a comment down below letting us know and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want more of these videos in the future. All right, so if you guys ever want more detailed information, we also filmed a longer version of this episode on our podcast. You can listen to that Spotify or Apple Music, whatever your favorite podcast platform is. Check us out on there, Personal Finance Takeover. Thank you guys again. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.